Hey, and welcome back. I'm going to show you guys how to draw Ahsoka from Star Wars. Alright, I'm going to start with the head here. I'm going to put her kind of in an action pose. Draw the guidelines to help me center the face. Put the cheeks down to the jawline in there. And again, with females, I generally draw a more rounded face. I'm gonna start to put the neck in there, so I'm gonna kind of give it a shape. So it's a cylinder. It's kind of hidden a little bit by the head, but get the line here, in the curve. I'm gonna put the traps to the shoulder right there. Put the collarbones in there. That's also going to help me line up the rest of the chest and everything else. So I'm going to have the center line. I'm going to put these lines in here for the chest. I'm drawing a little darker so you can see these lines. Normally I would leave them lighter. Alright, so now I'm going to continue the center line for how the body's going to move. Alright, so now we got that in there. Let's go ahead and bring the sides or the rib cages down here to the midsection. Here's the other side. It's kind of the back of the shoulder right here that's going to be blocked by the arm in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the shapes of how I'm going to do this. So bring that down here. Now this is where the crotch is going to be, and the female characters generally have wider hips than the males, so it tapers down to a point in the midsection and then it kicks back out to the hips. Alright, so now we got that in there. Now I'm going to put the legs. Just going to have this leg kind of, she's lunging a little bit. So we've got the upper leg right here. We've just got this little curve right here to this point, and another curved line down here to the knee, and then also a curve this way, but it's a curve the opposite way. It's inverted. Like this one, it's the same curve here, but it's on this other side. It's just going in. All right, so now we're going to put the lower leg of what you can see right there. It's going to be covering up most of the foot, but we're going to put the foot in there. Okay, now let's go ahead and go with the other leg. We're going to have this other leg kind of coming out from the hip down to the knee. So we've got it coming out here, just like over here, doing the same thing. We've got a curve coming down, and then the inside, going to do the same thing, have a inside curve to the knee here. We're going to have the lower leg. This curve right here, we're going to do another one right here, same thing. Now we're going to do the calf, the lower leg. We're going to have it coming down like this. So we've got these two curves, and it's slightly behind the upper leg because of the way that it's bent, but it's still kind of coming forward. She's still going to have her foot planted. So here's the sides, and this is kind of where the ankles would be. So here's the top of the foot coming down to the bottom right here. We're going to do the details of the costume after we get the form down, but I'm just kind of breaking this down into shapes and showing you the lines that I'm going to use. Alright, so now we're going to start with the arms, put the arms in there. So I'm going to throw the shoulder right here, and then have the upper arm come down to about, it's generally going to be about this area. It's going to be a little higher on this side because we have the body tilted like this, but this is about where the elbow is going to be. So now we're going to have the lower arm And this kind of like, it's the same kind of deal we did right here. We're going to do it right here. We're going to come out a little bit. Then we're going to come, this is about where the wrist is going to be. Right about there. Then we're just going to draw this straight line up to this part of the arm. It's kind of a straight line. Okay, so now I'm going to throw the hand in there, just the shape of it. We're going to come back and do the details in a little while. But so we got this square right here. This is going to be the kind of the top of the hand. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the other arm now. Put the other shoulder right here. So we got that. It's a curve, and then this curve is kind of showing me where the shoulder stops, and the upper arm's going to start. Going to have the arm come out straight like we did over here. All right, and this one, this arm, I didn't do a good job of showing it, but this arm is this arm's a little bit behind her. So this one's going to be a little thicker because it's kind of closer to the viewer. So that's why it might look a little bit bigger. I might actually need to adjust this one a little bit, but maybe put the hand back there. Top of the hand this way. Okay, so now we've got this hand. This is coming out the top, the forearm coming out to the wrist. All right, so I'm gonna have the hand down like this is the top of the hand right here. I'm gonna have it down this way. All right, so now we've got the basic form. Well, hold on, let me go to the chest. I'm gonna add the chest in there now. So it started at just kind of without any depth, just to kind of lay everything out. But now that I kind of have the position of it, I'm gonna add that in there. Okay, so now we've got the figure. Now we're gonna start adding details to the character. So first I'm gonna go ahead and do the face. All right. So now with the shape of the face, I know she's got that headpiece on, so I'm gonna kind of put that in, or at least show what part of the face is being covered by it first before I add like the eyes and everything. All right, so now I'm gonna add this first eye, and I always start when I have the face kind of turned like that. I start with the eye that's closest to the side of the face. So I put it right there because that kind of helps me place the nose. I'm going to put that one right there, and then I'm going to put this one in here. So now we have the placement of the eyes. And kind of tighten up the structure of the face. I'm going to throw one eye in here. With the females, I'll have a little darker outline around the eyes than with male characters. These are things, if you've watched a lot of my videos, you'll hear me say over and over, but I just continue to say it just in case nobody has seen the other ones, so they're hearing it for the first time. Alright, so now I got the eyes in there. Put the lips, do like a small little curve here, and then a bigger, more exaggerated one, like a longer one on that part. Then a similar, but the opposite way on the bottom, for the bottom lip. And then right here, what I like to do is, I do a curve like this again, but make it smaller and have it attached to the top lip, because what I'll generally come down and do is kind of shade in that area a little bit, so you can barely really see any of the teeth, but her mouth is slightly open. Okay, so next we're going to go with that headpiece. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to put this headpiece on there. And I want you following along to kind of do this process too. So I'm going to start here, this little point, and I'm going to draw this curve out here, and I'm just using this to help me set up where that point's going to be. And I'm going to do the same thing right here. Going to kind of take the middle point of this, have this line here, and then I'm going to do a little inverted curve between the two of them to connect it. Alright, so now on this side, you're going to slightly do another slight inverted curve, and then you're going to kind of almost like an S shape, but not really defined. You're going to have this other curve come all the way down here and bring it like that. So it's like you've got this curve here, and then another curve here, so it's almost like the curves on both ends are the same. So now it goes all the way to the side of the face. So I'm going to bring this down and then I'm going to connect it right here. Alright, so now I'm going to do the same thing, but it's going to be the opposite shape we draw on the other side. So I'm going to start here at this point over here, and I'm going to bring it this way and then come around. And this curve on the bottom part's a little more exaggerated than this one, but it's the same thing. We're kind of doing the mirror of what we did on this side. And then you're going to bring it up here, because this part of it you don't see because it's actually behind her face right there. Alright, so now let's add some details to this, just the detail pieces of it. So you've got this little shape right here, like this little, whatever color it is in the reference photo you're looking at, but there's like a little diamond here. Then she's got these triangles on these parts. And for here we've got these blue sections up here that we need to put in. Alright, this is kind of just a curve and a curve, and then this one is just one coming across, and this same thing. Curve, 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 and we're just doing what we did on the other side, but doing it on this side. So now we've got that on there, and there's 3 of these on her, so depending on what angle, there's another one in the back that comes down, but you obviously can't see that from this direction, so I'm not worried about it, but I thought I'd point it out anyway. Okay. Next, I'm gonna move on to this belt. She's got this belt that kind of rests on her hips, but it's also, depending on what photos you're looking at, there's like a top part of it too. Like what I looked at for a reference for her costume was I looked at Disney Infinity as well as some from the Clone Wars series. And so this is the one I chose to draw. Now this is going to be blocked by her hand, but I'm going to go ahead and put that in there just so you know it's there. And then she's got kind of this skirt part that's going to come from here to here. So all this stuff we did on the figure right here is all going to be blocked from what we're drawing. But it's always good when you're sketching out the form to do that so you can get your proportions right and you can get your perspective right and everything. She's also got this middle section hanging down. I'm going to go ahead and shade it in so you know that it's on top of all this other stuff. So there, now we have this skirt here, and then this front part that's hanging down. You got her boots. Let's put the boots on there. Now I'm going to put little bands on her upper arm. And then she's got these gauntlets or gloves on her lower arm too, and put those there. Put some more bands over here. Alright, so now we got all the bands on there. She does have this like one section. It's kind of cut out up here, but you know, you can barely see that. So if you want to do that, you can. It's kind of up to you. There's a little accents and aesthetics to the costumes that are kind of up to you to decide what you want to do. Alright, so now I'm going to start putting in the lightsabers. Alright. Start this one right here, and this is kind of like a circle, short fat cylinder with a circle here, and then another cylinder that's going to be the rest of it. And I'm just freehanding this, but if you want to bring in a ruler at this point, a ruler would be good to make sure that it looks proper, the line, but I'm just freehanding here. Alright, so you're going to put the thumb around there, and then you might be able to see a couple of the fingers, but you're probably not going to be able to see all of them from this angle, the way that it's being held. Alright, so now let's put the other one in, and then that should be about it for this. Alright. I'm going to put this line in here for the costume too, because she has a sleeveless costume. Alright, so here's the top of the hand. So I'm going to go ahead and put the, start the lightsaber right here. It's kind of like the knob part of it, or whatever you call it. If somebody wants to correct me, that's fine. Alright, so now we have it in there, and it's the same thing. You're just going to have the lines for the lightsaber out here. Like I said, if you want a ruler, you can use a ruler. I'm not using a ruler right now, just for time purposes. Alright, and so now we have that hand in there. And that's basically it. You can kind of add a little bit more details and accents on the costume if you want to, but these are kind of the basic shapes of the form. And if you want to draw more detailed musculature or anything like that, you can always do that from here. You start with these simple shapes, and if you want to add things, you can just pop them in there and have it a little more detailed. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and if you drew along with me, I'd love for you to share it on social media and tag me in it. And don't forget to give a like for the video and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Thanks, everybody.